welcome back to the vlog, everybody. I'm back home now, no longer in France, no longer in the high mountains. I'm back at sea level. But I'm out for a training session today, the first proper one, I would say, since the Étape de Tours. Actually, I tell a lie, I did a group ride, a chain gang last night, and right at the end I did a 2-minute effort at nearly 500 watts. I definitely got my heart rate up. In fact, that's the highest heart rate I've seen for a good while. But that's a nice way to kickstart things, because I haven't done any intensity really since the Col de la Loze effort, which was obviously the last video I put out on this channel. But needless to say, we're back at it. About 2.5 weeks until the Route Alps. Back-to-back days for a whole week of high mountains. I'm pushing myself on the daily. It's gonna be a bit different to the Étape de Tours, that's for sure. So my very loose plan for today is to ride out to a 10-mile time trial course that's pan flat. I'm going to do some intervals there while I'm fresh, and then I'm going to head into the hills, not mountains. And I'm probably going to ride for about 3 or 4 hours today, because I also plan to do about a 4 or 5 hour endurance ride tomorrow. But ideally I'm going to introduce an effort late on into this ride on one of maybe the last climbs that I do, but we'll see how it goes. I'm playing it by ear, my first intense session back. Right, I've just hit the outskirts of the town where I can start my effort. There's 30 minutes of nice warming up. I'm going to adopt a 1 minute on, 30-second off interval for approximately 20 minutes. I don't know what the target power is going to be yet. I'm going to feel it out. I'm going to maybe shoot for 420 for the on, and then completely easy for the off. But yeah, I'm just gonna see how I feel, because doing a steady state interval while I'm fresh like this after 2 weeks of no real intervals, a steady state will be a little bit more risky in terms of like how I pace it, because I wouldn't really be knowing where I'm at. Whereas at least with on and off I can squeeze more if things feel good. Well, that's my effort done. 21 minutes in the end, because I have to round it up. I have to finish that last 1 minute effort. Heart rate was really getting up, like halfway through. I'd have said like touching the 173, 174 mark, which considering last night I completely maxed out a 185 in that 2 minute effort. We were working like in a relatively good place there towards the back end of that block. So I'm happy enough with it. And now I'm climbing, as you can probably tell by the clicking in my bottom bracket. This is actually mountain road that takes you up into the climbs of the Gwendryth Valley. It's not really a mountain, but you know, I guess they have to call it something. I'm just about to hit the steepest part, actually, just around this corner. Although the camera will never do any justice, but there we are, look at that. And a spectacular view as well, just to take your mind off it. That was 359 watts of normalized power, if you're asking, for that 21 minutes. And for the 1 minute on periods, I think it was around about 410, 420 watts. Felt good though, and that's the main thing. Tell you what, I'm really looking forward to the next 2 weeks of training for the Route Alps. You know, the event is 7 days, and there's going to be like multiple massive mountains every day that will be timed on, and there'll be neutralized sections as well. Of course, that's just the format, so it's kind of a mix, I suppose, of, you know, a bit of racing and chilling, socializing and meeting people and sharing some stories. Of course, I've been to the Route Alps, which is only 3 days. That was a fantastic event, an iconic location. But this one is going to be starting and finishing in 2 different places over the 7 days, a point to point. And the training over the next couple of weeks is going to be like, you know, back-to-back days, like building my durability on back-to-back days. Nice long sustained efforts. Those are the type of efforts I really enjoy, of course. And like just getting the hours in, because you know there's no hiding place from the big mountains. And in a way, the training is going to take me back to the days where I was racing week-long stage races at UCI level about 10 years ago. I'm looking forward to getting my teeth into those mountains, and that's just motivating me to get out and train, just to make it a little bit easier. Although it never does get easier. I've always believed that the trick with training for an endurance challenge, it is not to like overcomplicate it. It's very easy to get caught up in, and I'm the same, I think sometimes. I feel like, you know, it needs to be perfect. I need to get that training block dialed in, and you know, it has to be the perfect training session that I plan out, and then I have to actually execute it. But sometimes that perfection ends up getting in the way of, well, actually executing in the first place. And I just keep telling myself that, you know, I've pretty much 98% of the way there for the Haute route in terms of my preparation. It's why I took some time off after doing the Étape de Tour, you know. And now getting going again, it's like, well, I only have to put finishing touches on, and those finishing touches, again, I don't believe they should be complicated. It's you know, it's getting a good couple of long rides in. It's getting some back-to-back days in with, you know, some intervals in there. You know, keep on top of practicing the nutrition strategy, the things that will inevitably be effective when it comes to being at the event. At the end of the day, as many experienced people will tell you, at some point during these events that are multi-day, you will inevitably, you know, come up against hardship. You'll hit the wall, you'll run out of energy, and it's then about how you manage it and how you get through that. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, you riding an exceptionally long way, further than you've ever ridden. You will potentially get to a point where you will become fatigued, and then it's then, what do you do from there? And over back-to-back multiple days, and particularly a long day with lots of mountains, you let the fatigue come to meet you. You don't try and chase that fatigue. Man, that quote has stuck with me for the best part of 13 years. Right, we're just at the top of the second of 5 climbs that I'm doing at the back end of this ride. Last 3 climbs are going to be a bit longer though. One is 6k at 5%, and then there's another one then 3k at 7%. So I've got 2 of those 6k climbs and just 1 of those 3k climbs. Look at this absolute classic British lane. Grass, a lawn growing up the middle, and gravel too, thrown in for good measure. So 2 climbs to go. This is the top of Sullin Mountain. It's quite open up here, and that was the 5.2 kilometer climb at about 5%. Now I'm going to loop around and I'm going to ride back up there, but instead of just riding up it, I'm going to see if I can beat my KOM. It's 12.5 minutes for that segment, and I did it a good while ago, and I averaged just under 350 watts, so not impossible to beat it, but we'll see. And that will be the last climb of the day as well, so good bit of motivation. But the views up here today are exceptional. Oh, I think I just missed it. Like, maybe a couple of seconds. It can't be any more than that. Normalized power 374 watts for a 12.5 minute effort. Oh, I felt good on that then. I was even touching like 400 watts for some periods. Well, I've just got home and immediately opened the laptop to see how I did on that segment, and it's good news. I think the segment must have started a little bit later than I thought it did, or whether it was a little bit shorter, I don't know. But I did go faster. So looking back, when I did that time last time, it was in the middle of winter. So I should have gone faster. I was wearing like full winter kit. I had like long figure gloves and everything. I think I even had a handlebar bag. It's besides the point. I went faster, and that's the main thing. Here's my ride in a bit of detail. There's the effort I did early on, and there's the effort I did late on, and then I was pretty steady in between. As steady as you can be with all of that climbing, really. So not only did I get that KOM, I got another one as well by just 1 second. So there's a shorter climb on that climb, like within that climb near the top. It's 1 kilometer at 8.5%. And I averaged 403 watts a bit to take the KOM by 1 measly second. 2:59. But the actual one I was going for, which was the Sullen Beast, that was 5.2k at 4.5%. I averaged 26 kilometers an hour, which was, actually 0.9 kilometers an hour faster than my previous best time, which was the KOM. 12:34. I did it in 12 minutes 10 this time. So yeah, I thought I was a couple of seconds out, but actually I was 24 seconds faster. I will take that for a regular Wednesday. So there we go. That's going to wrap up this little training video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's keep this momentum rolling now over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks towards the Route Alps. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.